Hello, my name is Lindy Cowling and welcome to my channel. My website is www.lindycowling.co.uk and my email is info@lindycowling.co.uk. For those people tuning in that have not ever seen any of my videos before and don't know the way I work, I prefer to work from a space of experience. So what I talk about, I use my own first-hand experiences and or the experiences of working with clients over 15 years worldwide now, actually, a lot of international work. So it's experiential. I only talk about things that I've gone through, going through, processing through, and people that I work with worldwide that are going through the same. So I like to come from that space of embodiment. From a personal point of view, I do feel that's part of my role, really, is to work with people that are trying to anchor higher states of frequency and vibration into the current or former current reality. Certainly as part of that process, I am required to model that as being possible, but also model that as being very human, very real, and anchor it into this reality. In doing so, that kind of busts open the parameters, busts open the old programming, busts open the old templating. If I haven't completely lost anyone that's watched this for the first time, I think, what the hell is she talking about? Basically, I'm bringing the paranormal into the normal, spirituality into reality, and using clients' experiences and my own personal experiences to do so. So having said all that, hope I haven't lost you at this point. The title of this short video today will be called Shapeshifting, Morphing Multidimensionally. And again, when I speak, for anyone who hasn't seen these videos or any of my videos before, I come from a space of working medium, clairvoyant, psychic, healer, qualified in hypnotherapy, NLP, past life regression, future life progression, 3.5 years in the living, working, physical embodiment of a twin flame union. That is the aspect I come from, lineage of healers, medium clairvoyance, that kind of background. So shape-shifting. Until I'd had direct experience of such a thing, to me, I had heard of the concept and totally believed that the concept was possible, and my very, very, very limited understanding of it was that it was somehow, to me, linked into the native or tribal or Native American Indian culture. That was my brief understanding of it, and that people were able to get themselves to such a state of frequency or vibration that they could morph into another element, such as, for example, an animal. That was my limited conception of it, and understanding of it. Years later, when I realized that such a thing was actually, possible, because I was actually experiencing it and doing it and seeing it done by others, I realized then that it overlaps with multidimensionality, in that you are able to morph what we in some ways would call shape-shifting, not only to an animal, say for example, like a bear or a wolf or a tiger, whatever, and take on those characteristics. The eyes will show it first, but you can also do it by taking on and having the persona and the physical characteristics of another aspect of your soul. So let me explain this in plain English, which is kind of what I'm known for. Call a spade a spade. Let's get it down into plain talking. When it first happened to me, I thought I was experiencing past lives. Because I come from a background of medium clairvoyance anyway, I have been in what we call circle environments a long time ago. I knew it was possible to channel. I knew when you channel, especially when you're a trance healer or a trance channeler, you, as a spirit energy comes in close to you, you kind of morph a bit to their characteristics. So your face doesn't totally disappear, but it's like the special effects you see on a TV advert when you see an overlay come in and the person's eyes change, the shape of their nose change, their head goes longer, suddenly they've got a beard. I mean, I knew this was possible because I'd seen it all years ago, but I had never been in a situation where spontaneous morphing like that was happening, not in a circle environment, just by connecting with another spiritual connection, i.e. a twin flame for me, that level of connection that would spontaneously make you morph. So you could both morph on cue, really, to, we thought at the time, past lives, but now I know, not believe, know, to be other facets of the expression of the same soul in different timelines, what you call past lives, at the same time, all experiencing, like in different, always when I explain this, when I do talks or seminars, I say it's like being in different cinema screens, all at the same time, so having experiences at the same time. When I first saw this in an individual, it was quite alarming actually, to come into a room. It was like seeing a television slightly out of tune. So they would appear one way, and then it was almost like the signal would change, as if you imagine you were tuning in a TV set, and then the features would distort, so that it was different elements of the physical being in front of you, and actually their energy would feel quite different, and then it would distort, and then it would go back again. I kind of got used to that over a long period of time, but that would happen spontaneously. Now, I didn't realize at the time that I was the only one that could see that at that time, because of my spiritual and soul connection, the level at which I was connecting. So I saw through all the physical characteristics and facade, and saw the soul, you know, underneath that, if you want, really. And at that time, I really truly felt these are past lives I'm seeing here, you know, morphing in front of me, but in fact they're lives existing. The soul's experience of lives multidimensionally, so right the way across all elements of what we think are time in this simultaneous moment. So I thought, you know, that was only possible to be seen by me, and for that person to be the only one to see that in me. And I could also, it was completely spontaneous. I didn't work at this. It wasn't worked at. I had one element of my soul in particular. I mean, and I can say this to everyone. I've said this on camera before. The soul is really like a diamond. It's like the song "Shine Bright Like a Diamond." I've got a video out called "Shine Bright Like a Diamond." This is the best way I can explain it. This diamond, almost like diamond consciousness, really, is that the soul, we can, if I held it up to the light, we can turn it, and each element of it or fractal of it is a different expression of the soul, but it's all part of the same diamond. A bit like what I said, you know, where the soul's experiencing different things at different sides. So depending on what is of greatest benefit, those characteristics to come forward in the soul at that time is the part of the diamond consciousness that rotates, if you like, round to the front so we can access it. Let me give you another example. If you had a timeline in what was formerly, you know, known as Lemuria or Atlantis, and you're working in healing that really requires tapping into that sort of energy, the characteristics of the soul, if you had your soul is experiencing multidimensionally an expression of its consciousness in that reality, can come to the fore, the consciousness can rotate, if you like, come to the front, come to the fore, and those skills can be used, you know, here and now, in what we think of as here and now, to not only benefit yourself but benefit the people you're working for or with. So for example, I have awareness, not full awareness by any means of all of the multi-dimensional expressions of my soul, certainly awareness of some of it. One of them definitely very, very strong one with me, also very strong guide that works with me, but independently of that, very strong memory of Native American Indian roots, what you would call past lives, but which is actually is just who I am, the embodiment of it, which is existing in the now at this moment, even though I'm a girl living in the modern Western world. So for me, I had a skill in the native, or have a skill in the Native American existence of morphing to the characteristics, the perception of the energy of wolf. So with my spiritual connection, he could see that and feel that at certain points, because that was brought, that connection brought that side of my soul to the fore so it could be seen. So my eyes would change first. Now, it doesn't mean to say, let's get this really, really clear here, I didn't suddenly not look human anymore and completely fully morph to a wolf. I'm not saying that's not possible. What I'm saying is that didn't happen to me, but my whole energy and persona changed to linking very much with that, and my eyes most definitely changed to wolf, changed colour and everything. It wasn't just him that witnessed that. In the years that have followed, that's been witnessed 3 or 4 times. Actually, all people that were spiritually connected. So this, for me, actually is actually categoric proof that it's a level, it can be seen, the unseen can be seen at a certain level of frequency or vibration, because all those that witnessed that were at the vibration, psychically, spiritually, you know, in heart, from a vibration where, and they were all, you know, healers and mediums actually, but really, really good ones that could see it, and they would actually say, oh my God, you've gone all wolf on me, you know, you've gone all wolf on me. So, you know, this is, it's all a matter of your frequency and vibration, where the unseen can be seen. I truly feel, tapping into my knowing here, that with the optimum and optimal rate of frequency and vibration, that as people raise their vibration by the dissension into their heart, that they can also get to a state of evolution where they can have a subtle or sometimes dramatic awareness of the other fractals or other elements of their soul, And if those characteristics or those attributes in their, what you again will call past lives, are beneficial to now, but really it's not past lives again, it's all, everything's rushing together into this, you know, this awareness is rushing in together into this now. I truly feel that they are able to tap into that and use that. They may not even be consciously aware of it. It may be very much a subconscious thing, but these skills are there to utilize, if you like. It wouldn't be right, it's nothing, it's not a completion of the soul, because I've said this before on camera, you're not incomplete. It's an awareness that the soul is infinite, that it is existing in these other expressions of what it feels as the reality in that time, but really all the time is now. And so it's all it's awareness, it's frequency, it's vibration. And so I feel that, you know, the majority of people, if not everyone, not by any means, not everyone is going to utilize this, and that's not their path to do so, but the ability is there. That's what I'm saying, if the frequency and vibration is high enough. So why some people experience it in spiritual connections, just wham like that, is because it's straight off starts at a frequency that goes beyond the physical. So the physical persona of that person, you can, again, the unseen is seen. And you know, we're finding that across the world at the moment. I mean, I can give you another example. I may bring a video out on this, where trees at the moment, if they are on particular energy lines, it's not all trees, I mean all trees have beautiful energy, but trees that are on a particular energy line, like the meridian or the acupuncture points of Earth, this planet, some people call them ley lines, whatever, as our frequency goes up, so 4th, 5th, 6th, and continues on up, we are able to again see the unseen. So we can, especially with trees that are on these acupuncture or meridian points, we can see the beings that exist in that dimensional energy field in and around trees, and they can make themselves known to you and actually appear on camera. This again is happening both to me and to other people, and they appear quite clearly on camera now. Now, it's not because they've stepped forward, it's because we've stepped up. We've stepped up in vibration. They haven't dropped down to meet us, we've stepped up to meet them. That's just one example. Again, the unseen being seen. Now, every positive aspect of this is happening. This is why when we see through the eyes of the heart, truth has never become more apt, because we really do see and feel the truth then, because we see through the true perceptive filter, not just our perception. I mean, the last video I brought out was on perception, projection, reflection, but we see the ultimate truth, because our perception has been formerly based on the reality, only the 3D reality or 4D, whatever glasses, so to speak, we were wearing. So it's quite incredible. It's quite incredible that we can almost experience things for the first time, because there is, again, I refer to like a rebirth going on, because everything seems and feels very different when you are coming from a different perception on it, and it is like a whole new world, and people are finding that they can't actually continue on in the old world. Once they've got this new perception running, or this higher frequency running, they find it impossible to do that. because they are like a fish that's just been taken out of the water and put onto dry land. They can't seem to do it. So why I'm bringing this out is, again, you know, there's multiple titles I could have brought out. Go always with the one that feels strongest to say at the time and on the day. Is I had very limited understanding of shape-shifting, but it does all morph and merge into the frequency and vibration that is being expressed at the time, and linking into the energy of the consciousness of the soul. Let's call it the diamond consciousness. And what is beneficial and part of the overall amalgamation, the overall merging of the soul at that time, for that to be shown, felt, experienced. It can give strength, courage, wisdom, kind of a emergence, really. What I was saying earlier before I deviated is this: you can see, because the unseen can be seen by this. If we go down to the negative end of the spectrum, you know, you can also see the reality. You can see through the illusion of everything, you know, corporations that are pretending to be something they're not, people that are pretending to be something they're not. Because you're able to see through, just like the shape-shifting and the merging of, you know, you're able to see through other people's, I would almost say, mask or physical representation of who they are. This isn't a spooky bad thing, it's part of evolution. I mean, as your rate speeds up, this is what happens. This is what happens. I've mentioned this in videos before when I've said, you know, this is when we're talking about ghosts and things like that. They're at a different rate of vibration. This is why they, you know, don't always seem solid, or sometimes they're solid, you know, look really solid, you know, like people that are really there, and sometimes they don't. It's all about, you know, dimensions and the speed at which we're moving, the speed at which we're vibrating. Somebody, I'm going to give you an example here. Somebody this week, I was doing some intuitive soul guidance for them, really. And they asked me in the middle of it to just switch tack like that, just randomly, and go onto the mediumship side of it. And I had to explain to them that when I'm doing the soul guidance side of it, I was going to say I tune into a certain frequency, but that would not be correct. That's just who I am. That's natural, like breathing. I mean, clairvoyance to me is natural, like breathing. Mediumship, I would have had to alter my energy quite significantly, actually, to do that from the level at which I was working there, because they're not all at the same level. They are like tuning to different radio stations. And just randomly, this person, you know, just wanted me to just say, what does a relative think of this? Just out of the blue like that, in the middle of soul guidance. And I had to explain, well, actually, I'd have to drop my level to do this. Let me clarify what I just said there. Doesn't mean to say that mediumship, because I come from a mediumship, old school mediumship healing background, is lower, less than working on the soul side of it. It means it's a different radio station, and I would have had to come from kind of divine love, talking on a level of soul, tuned to that, tuning to, with the mediumship side of it, the only way I can explain it, because I feel it as energy, being very empathic, very kinesthetic as well as very visual, is that it's heavier. The rate of vibration is heavier, actually, slightly slower than when I'm working in soul guidance. It's ironical, really, kind of in the old days, way back when for me, I would have to speed up my vibration to go to mediumship, up it to go to mediumship. When I'm working on the soul spirit side of the template side of it, I have to drop my rate to go to mediumship. So it's interesting. It's interesting. I mean, that's something that's a realization that I'm only just having on camera here, realizing that it's been happening for a while. So they're just different frequencies, they're different radio stations. So I've kind of deviated off a little bit here. So shape-shifting, is it possible? Yeah, massively, 100% yes. Morphing, taking on the energies, the characteristics, the strength, the persona of another animal, a creature, but also I'm putting under the same umbrella the multidimensionality, shape-shifting in morphing to other elements of your timeline, bringing them to the fore, absolutely. And you know, the last thing I would say about the seen and the unseen being seen is that this is where you can see actually on camera, on film, or you would just get a sense of it, a feeling of, again, corporations or people working that have elements of something else running the show. So other elements of their soul running the show that's there. Sometimes wonderful elements of it, you know, angelic elements of it, and sometimes much less savory elements of it. So I would say to you, you know, you kind of trust your gut feeling on that, trust your intuition on that. I mean, you will know, depending on your own personal rate of evolution and rate of development and where you're at, you'll know who you're drawn to and why. And sometimes that is going to change. That is going to change as your rate of vibration speeds up. You know, who you are choosing to be around, who you're choosing to listen to, who you're choosing to watch, depending on what you're at and, you know, what you are kind of inspired by at the time. I mean, I work very much on empowering people. If I had to say one thing about my work, I would say everything about me is empowering people to come into the strongest, most aware, most loving, divine, infinite expression of who they are. How I do that is working one-to-one with people. How I do that is talking to roomfuls of people. How I do that is in front of a television camera. How I do that is radio. How I do that is being transparent, authentic, kind of warts and all, you know, what you see is what you get. How I do that is by the embodiment of a vibration. That's how I do that. I'm no one special. I'm nothing special in doing that. I just am what it says on the tin. I mean, that's a line I use with my clients as well. You know, when they're just 100% authentic, I say to them, you are what it says on the tin. For me, that's the greatest compliment I can pay anyone. So in part of your journey, you may well experience this morphing, especially if you are connecting spiritually with someone in some capacity. And you may experience this, you may not. But it's certainly something I've experienced. It's certainly something that I've worked with others that have experienced elements of that. And it's certainly something that can happen. And in this sort of evolutionary space that we're in. You know, that kind of thing is, I would be, my, you know, feeling of that, where I would be expecting those kind of things to increase as the way I get given it in energy and feel it and see it in energy is everything rushing together as it all merges, and there's awareness of all the facets of your one soul. These are elements of it that I would be feeling and expecting to increase across the world, where people are aware of this and actually maybe even seeing this take place. Again, you know, you've got to just trust your own gut feeling, trust your own knowing, trust your heart on this. On that note, I will love you and leave you. I do hope that in these very compressed times, when everything is coming together very fast, that you are looking after yourselves, that you're taking care of yourselves. I know many of us, myself included, are going through very traumatic changes at this time, and all of us, you know, a reminder of to myself in this as well, need to take time to balance, need to take time out. Sometimes we need to be kind to ourselves at this time, while we are really transitioning at an unprecedented rate and being compressed in a good way, but it, you know, it doesn't always feel like a good way, at an unprecedented rate. This has been a very long video for me, exceptionally long, so I hope I haven't waffled too much. I will love you and leave you until we meet again, guys. Take care. Bye bye.